Let's solve this problem. Subtract the following integers. So let's start with 1, 5 minus 2. So how do we subtract integers? So we just copy the first number, which is 5, change the operation minus to plus, and then we change the sign of the subtrahend or the second number to its opposite. So since we are given 2 as the second number or the subtrahend, it means that it has an invisible sign of positive. So if we change its sign to its opposite, this should become negative 2. So therefore, we are now adding 5 plus negative 2. So we then follow the same rules for addition of integers. So what are the rules for addition of integers? So if we are adding unlike signs, as in this case, we have one positive and one negative, we subtract the absolute value of the smaller number, which is this 2, from the absolute value of the bigger number, which is 5. So we say absolute value, we disregard the sign. So we will have 5 minus 2, that's equal to 3. And then on the final answer, we must follow the same sign of the number with the bigger absolute value. In this case, it's positive 5, right? So the final answer should be positive 3 or simply 3. For number 2, we have 6 minus negative 4. Again, copy the first number 6, change the minus operation to plus, and change the sign of the subtrahend or the second number to its opposite. So since we have negative 4, let's make it now as positive 4. So this time, we are adding 6 plus positive 4. So they are like signs, both positive. If that's the case, applying the rule for addition of like signs, so we just add the absolute value of the numbers disregarding the sign. So 6 plus 4, that will be 10. And then we copy the same sign, which is positive, on the final answer. So we have positive 10 or simply 10. For number 3, we have negative 3 minus 7. Again, copy the first number, negative 3. Change the minus operation to plus. And then change the sign of the subtrahend. So this is positive 7. If we change the sign to its opposite, it will become negative 7. So we are adding negative 3 plus negative 7, which are like signs. They are both negative. If that's the case, we add the absolute value of the numbers disregarding the sign. So we have 3 plus 7 or 10. And then copy their same sign on the final answer, which is negative. So therefore, the final answer should be negative 10. For number 4, we have negative 9 minus negative 1. So copy the first number, negative 9. Change the subtraction to addition. And then change the sign of the subtrahend. So it's negative 1, so it should become positive 1. So we are adding negative 9 plus positive 1. So again, they fall under unlike signs. One negative and one positive. If that's the case, we subtract the absolute value of the smaller, which is 1, from the absolute value of the bigger, which is 9. So disregarding the signs again. So if we subtract 9 minus 1, that's 8. And then we copy on the final answer the same sign of the number with the bigger absolute value, which is the negative 9. So the final answer should be negative 8. For number 5, we have negative 10 minus negative 15. So let's copy the first number, negative 10. Change the minus to plus. Change the sign of the subtrahend to its opposite. So we have negative 15. If we change it to its opposite, it should become positive 15. So we are adding negative 10 plus positive 15, which are unlike signs, one negative and one positive. So again, we subtract the absolute value of the smaller, which is 10, from the absolute value of the bigger, which is 15. So 15 minus 10, that will be 5. And we need to copy the same sign of the number with the bigger absolute value, which is the positive 15. So the final answer should be positive 5 or simply 5. For number 6, we have 12 minus 18. Again, copy the first number 12. Change the minus to plus. Change the sign of the subtrahend to its opposite. So it has an invisible sign of positive. So if we change it to its opposite, it should become negative 18. So this time we are adding 12 plus negative 18, which falls under addition of unlike signs, one positive and one negative. So we must subtract the smaller absolute value, which is 12, from the bigger absolute value, which is 18. So we will have 18 minus 12, or 6, and then we copy the sign of the bigger absolute value, which is negative 18. So the final answer should be negative 6. Next, for number 7, we have negative 1 minus 8 minus negative 7 minus negative 14. So let's start with the first two numbers. So we have negative 1 minus positive 8. So we need to change the operation to plus. And then this positive 8, let's change the sign to its opposite. So it will become negative 8. So if we add negative 1 plus negative 8, that's like signs. They are both negative. So we just add the absolute value, 1 plus 8, that will be 9. And then copy their same sign, which is negative. So we have negative 9. Next is we need to subtract negative 7. So again, change the minus operation to plus. And the opposite sign of the subtrahend, so negative 7, it should become positive 7. So this time we are adding unlike signs, one negative and one positive. So the rule is we subtract the smaller absolute value, which is 7, from the bigger absolute value, which is 9. So 9 minus 7, that will be 2. But we need to copy the sign of the bigger absolute value, which is negative 9. So the final answer should be negative 2. Lastly, we must minus negative 14. So let's change the minus operation to plus. And then change the sign of the subtrahend. So we have negative 14. If we change the sign to its opposite, it should become positive 14. So you need to add negative 2 plus positive 14. So again, they are unlike signs, one negative and one positive. Subtract the smaller absolute value, which is 2, from the bigger absolute value, which is 14. So we will have 14 minus 2, or 12. And we need to copy the sign of the bigger absolute value, which is positive 14. So the final answer should be positive 12, or simply 12. Okay, now it's your turn. So try to solve these problems and just comment your answers.